Amazing section. Today, we will be looking at the recent position of the US President Donald Trump on Venezuela. Trump said the oil that Venezuela have, it belongs to the United States, and that Venezuela is denying America of the right to that oil. Well, this doesn't make sense to me because the last time I checked, Venezuela is not trying to lay claim to oil the oil in um, in Texas or to any sort of resources on the coast of not attempting to do that. What if Venezuela attempts to do that? What would it? So this is about power politics. This is all it is about, power politics. It's all about power politics and the US again bullying its way around and claiming that they want everything. And funny enough, now they're laying embargo, they're like putting embargo on oil coming from Venezuela. Now, Venezuela is not allowed to sell oil now to that embargo. It's crazy because the oil is not allowed to be sold to any ship or any company in Asia or in China, anywhere. Only American companies can buy oil from Venezuela. Only the US. The US is, placing an embargo on Venezuela to make it impossible for anybody else to buy. So, in terms of like competition, and this is where it's crazy because Venezuela is supplying most of their oil now to China. 70 to 80% of their oil they're supplying to China, and the US wants to stop that. So this is not just an assault on Venezuela alone. It's also the US trying to use power to determine who Venezuela can sell their oil to, who they can sell their oil to, when and how. I've never seen anything like this in my life. Blatant, naked exploitation happening in 2025. This is not like the 1930s or 40s or even during the Cold War. This is happening in 2025. And these are the same people talking about standard and human rights. The same people coming to Nigeria and telling us about human rights and democracy and all this bullshit. Why they are blatantly lying? Trump himself said the Venezuelan oil belongs to us. No, it does not belong to you. It belongs to the good people of Venezuela. And if you're going to launch a war against them because you want to take oil from them, why are you now a custodian of democracy, preaching democracy to us and human rights, when you don't abide by the same standards? If you don't abide by the same standards, why should we listen to you? Why should anybody listen to America? Why should anybody listen to anything you guys have to say? So the Russian President Vladimir Putin emphasized that Moscow's troops were advancing across the battlefield in Ukraine and voiced confidence that the Kremlin would achieve its military goal if Kiev does not agree to Russia's conditions of peace talk. In the early days of the conflict in 20, by the way, these are okay. You look at what Russia is doing in Ukraine, and some people say, "Oh, it's morally wrong," blah blah blah, and so on and so forth. Well, sorry, I need to get my light on again. I don't know why this thing keeps going off. Pardon my French. Excuse my French. Excuse my French. So the US is preaching protocol and telling us how evil Vladimir Putin is, and so on and so forth. And you look at these leaders in America, you look at these leaders in the West, nobody would take them seriously. I mean, I used to be like, I follow the conflict in Ukraine consistently, and I've been looking at it for a long time. Lately, I've not been doing that because I have, been looking at other things as well. Maybe I should even put up the map of the areas that the Russians are now controlling for you guys to see. So this will be a 1.5 or 2 hour section. Don't forget to like, guys. So how many of you know about the Donbass? If you know about the Donbass, can you write Donbass in the comment section? Write the word Donbass in the comment section. Let's look at what the Donbass is and Novorossiya. So first, let's look at the Donbass. Donbass, for those of you that know what it means, write Donbass in the comment section. Let's go. So write Donbass in the comment section, then I will explain. Now, the Donbass is an area that is traditionally Russian-speaking people, including Novorossiya. So or Novorussia is what they call New Russia, is also an extension of that area. Majority of the people there are Russian-speaking people and Tatar. So this area have been historically, uh, part of. Okay, this area have been historically part of Russian territory until the Soviets came in. After the Bolshevik Revolution in 1917, and they, decided to come up with this whole idea of the USSR. But that is not the point. So the Donbass is a historical, cultural, and economic region in the Russia-Ukraine border, lying predominantly in Ukraine. The vast majority of the Donbass is occupied by Russia as a result of Russo-Ukrainian war, as the Russian armed forces control about 90% of the region as of October 2025. At the last census in 2021, the population of the Donbass region of Ukraine was about 58% ethnic Ukrainian and 38% ethnic Russian. So, well, you have a good number of Russian people living in that area. Um, there are several definitions of this region's extent. In modern geopolitics, the Donbass usually refers to Donetsk Oblast, Luhansk Oblast in Ukraine, and but if you go down as well, so you have the Dnipropetrovsk Oblast and the southern Russia, including Odessa. What do you call it? Including no, there's Kharkov. It's also some part of Kharkov. You have Donetsk, you have Luhansk, you have Dnipro. Um, Particularly the economic areas in the eastern part of Ukraine. This has always been the industrial hub of Ukraine. That's traditionally been that way. So Rostov-on-Don is the attached part of the Rostov province in Russia. The historical coal mining region excluded parts of Donetsk and Luhansk provinces, but include areas in Dnipropetrovsk Oblast and southern Russia. The Euro region of Donbass is composed of Donetsk and Luhansk Oblast in Ukraine and Rostov Oblast in Russia. Now, the Donbass formed the historical border between Zaporizhia, Sich, and Don Cossack host. Well, well, well. Um, so in March 2014, following the Euromaidan protest movement and resulting in the Revolution of Dignity, as they call it, large swathes of the Donbass became gripped by pro-Russian and anti-government unrest. The unrest later grew into a war between the Ukrainian government forces and pro-Russian separatists affiliated with the self-proclaimed Donetsk and Luhansk People's Republics, who were supported by Russia as part of the broader Russo-Ukrainian war. The conflict split the Donbass into Ukraine-held territory, constituting about two-thirds of the region, and separatist-held territory, constituting one-third. Now, the region remained this way for years until Russia launched the full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022. Yeah, so this is where I want us to look at it from. So as it stands now, the Russians control between 28% and 30% of Ukrainian territory, and that number is bound to go up with the fact that the president gave a speech recently and said, well, the Ukrainians rather come to the negotiation table because as it stands now, the momentum is on the side of Russia. If the Russians freeze the front line, they won't be able to go back again. And they know this very well. This is why I say, oh, you have to stop fighting first, then we talk. No, this is not the way it works. Ukraine is adamant about their position. The Russians are adamant about their position. And the Europeans are saying there need to be a ceasefire using diplomatic and political pressure on Russia in order to resupply Ukraine to give them a balance on the front line. They're trying to do that to stabilize the front line. And well, if I was a Russian, why would I accept that? Why would I want to give Ukraine an advantage at this point in time when they are in disarray? Why would I want to give them any sort of advantage at this point in time when you know that they are in complete disarray? Nobody is going to do that. And I don't want them to even freeze the fighting, because if they freeze the fighting, at the end of the day, it's not going to benefit the Russians in any way, shape, or form. Thank you for the likes, guys. Thank you for the likes. So basically, Can you guys write Crimea in the comment section? For those of you that know what Crimea is, can you write Crimea? Write Crimea in the comment section. Let's talk about Crimea as well. And why Crimea is very important to Russian security and power in the Black Sea. So can we write Crimea in the comment section? Let's go. 9 of you, yeah. Crimea, Crim, yeah. Jews for Jizya, so that's Crimea. We need 3 more of you to write the word Crimea in the comment section. So now the Crimean area is very important strategically for Russian power, for their influence, and for strategic reasons on the Black Sea. Now the Crimean area have been largely populated by Tatars for a very long time, Cossacks. You know, these are mostly Turkic people of Turkic origin. Tatarstan is different from Crimea. It's Tatarstan, which is Republic of Tatarstan is where you have it's in Russia proper. So the Tatar people also live in Crimea. So let's look at the Crimean area and how that is also important. And we're also going to look at Zaporizhia, satanic host. Zaporizhia. Okay, just 1 second. Thank you for the likes, guys. Thank you for the likes. Let's keep going. I'm sure most of you saw the speech by the Russian President Vladimir Putin and what he said. Australian PM announced plan to buy guns from public. Did you guys see that news as well? And they are going to retrieve all the guns from people that own guns. So they want to buy back all the guns from public in order to stop this. Flooding the society with arms, Second or First Amendment or whatever it is, in America it's a big problem. God will never leave Russia. Let's look at what the religious leaders in Russia are saying. The head of the Orthodox Church, they call it the patriarch of the Orthodox Church. Russian President Vladimir Putin said he places his trust in God and believes that divine grace will continue to protect Russia. Okay. The comment was made during the Russian leaders' annual Q&A section on Friday as he responded to the series of brief personal and philosophical questions. I believe in God, who is with us, will never abandon Russia. Putin said after the moderator noted that every person needs something to believe in. Putin is known as a practicing Orthodox Christian and an ardent supporter of what he described as traditional religions. Okay, and he has repeatedly argued that such faiths embody time-tested wisdom and remain essential. The funny thing is that when Putin came to power, people called him, Islamophobic, blah blah blah, because of the insecurity situation at that time in Dagestan and Chechnya, and the West was trying to portray him as a wicked, evil guy that's destroying the Muslims, and they were even encouraging some of these fighters from around the world, from Pakistan, to go and fight for the Ummah, to go and fight in the defense of Islam, and so on and so forth. And this was during the fight in, during the Second Crimean War, Second Chechen War, where the likes of Shamil Basayev and all those terrorists were destroying the country, and they carried out the Bolshoi theater attack, by the way. The fact that people cannot acknowledge that, and you have all these fighters from around the world going there, and the US is encouraging them and telling them that the Russians are, are against Muslims. But when America does it, and anybody speak up, America, oh, you're supporting terrorism and so on and so forth. So they are playing this game back and forth. I mean, if you look at what Russia has done since Putin came to power, after he demolished Basayev and his criminals, what happened is he rebuilt Grozny, which is the capital of Chechnya. He rebuilt it. And since then, we have had the leadership of, the leader of Chechnya. I forgot his name in a second. So his father was there. His father was killed shortly before he became the leader. So let's look at the Chechnyan leader. Let's look at the leader of Chechnya. So Kadyrov. So this is Ramzan Kadyrov, and his father is, Ahmad Kadyrov. His father was unalived so he has 12 children, 6 sons 2 of them adopted, and 6 daughters. Wow. Kadyrov have 12 children. Well, he has a lot of money. So Ahmad Kadyrov is the father, and hey Shui, this is the right time for you to jump on this, and we need to do more of these podcast sections together. If you're down to do it today, why don't you just jump on the link, or you can do it via this place. But I advise, I'm gonna send you a link. I'm sure you have YouTube and all that stuff. You can use it. If I send you the link, you can actually use YouTube. You can use other platform, and we can co-host on more like here and there as well at the same time. So why don't you go live and request me? I'm gonna be here. If you heard what I said, show it. I don't think she's there anymore. No. Zokhar Dudayev is another person. Alu Alkanov, Natalie Estemirova, and Anna Politskova. Thank you for the likes, guys. Military leader of the 1990s Chechen independence movement from Russia. He served as the first president of Chechen Republic of Ishkeria from 1991 until his assassination. Well, I don't know, man. So the story of Ramzan Kadyrov is a very important one. Ramzan Akhmatovich Kadyrov is a Russian politician who is currently serving as the head of the Chechen Republic. He was formerly affiliated with the Chechen independence movement through his father, who was the separatist appointed Mufti of Chechnya. He's a colonel in the Russian army. Kadyrov is the son of former Chechen President Akhmat Kadyrov, who switched sides in the Second Chechen War by offering his service to Vladimir Putin. Wow. In Russia, and became Chechen president in 2003. Ahmad Kadyrov was assassinated in May 2004, and in February 2007, Ramzan Kadyrov replaced Alu Alkanov. Yeah, because he was a kid when his dad was unalive. And yeah, because the Kadyrov family is highly respected in Chechnya, and they wanted somebody that can unite the tribes, because it's the situation there is very, very different. A lot of tribes constantly fighting with each other. So yeah, it's very important to note that. Um, so what else is trending, guys? What else is trending? Let's look at the world news. What else is trending? The EU should be ready to engage with Russia. Macron. It's the first time he's saying this as well. Trump suspends green card lottery after Ivy League campus killings. Wow, this is new. China sues US state over COVID allegations. US agency urges white men to report discrimination. Wow, that there is discrimination against white people and they should report it. EU State Interior Ministry takes down Ukrainian flag. The move was ordered by the Czech Republic's Lubomir Metna, who said foreign symbols will only be displayed during major diplomatic events. And I'm sure you guys also saw what happened in Bangladesh. I think we are about to go to phase 2 of the uprising in Bangladesh, to be honest. Ukraine loan decision brings EU closer to war. Viktor Orban. Wow. Trump signs record US war budget with 800 million for Kiev. Lolita quotes. Guys should make YouTube videos about current topics I would watch. Yeah, I'm currently on YouTube. Why don't you go there and check it out? Instead of just saying, people say things, you just say because you want to be seen. No, you should do it. You don't have to tell me that you want to use my YouTube. You should actually do it if you want to. Anyways, thank you, Lena. I don't know why I'm feeling sleepy and tired. I don't know. Maybe it's maybe I really need to sleep. Who knows? Anyways, let's go, guys. Let's go. So this is our latest update for today, and tomorrow we'll have another section as well. I'm going to be doing more of this every single day to give you like the news, the updates, and before I open the box for anybody that wants to come up and have a conversation. The thing is that you guys, a lot of people come, they're like, okay, he's not allowing me on the panel, then they leave because they're not interested. They just want to their own voices to be heard. They don't want to. And you know what? Maybe I can do this all the time without bringing anybody up. It makes a lot of sense, to be honest. I have a YouTube and it's on my bio. You can go and check it on my bio. Go and check the link on my bio. You see my YouTube there. It's right there. Mm.